Okay, hello, I'm finally back home, and I brought all my fish back. All of them survived to 100% with 100% survival rate, and we got all the plants in here, so everything in the 75 is near completely like what I want it to be, except the sword plants. They're going to have to be anchored or something because I had them arranged and my pleco just swam around night and knocked them down. And there's going to be a few changes made to this tank. I was planning on doing a complete re-aquascape, but I think I like this driftwood look a lot, so I'm going to keep it like this. And the only thing is, some of these fish, this firemouth cichlid, he's probably going to be sent to Winnipeg because I don't think I'm giving him proper care. I can't seem to find him a mate or anything like that. So yeah, he's going to get sent down south. My buddy's going to get the trade him in, or he'll find a good home for him. And the Coriodoris catfish in here, I think they're going to be moved to my 20 gallon since there's a sand bomb in there instead of gravel. And they dig a bit better in sand, and they'll enjoy it more. Once I get the time to move them, I will. And there are 3 Pictus catfish in here. There's the 3 babies, and there's the big adult, which I was afraid the big adult was going to eat the babies, but turns out he completely ignores them. So here's the big adult Pictus right here, about 4 inches long. And he obviously did not eat the baby Pictus last night since he doesn't have a bulge in his stomach. Which is good since I did see the baby Pictus this morning, I just can't seem to find them right now. And the paradise fish, doing great. The red one completely dominates the blue one, and there's been no fighting, which is good since I don't want them to risk any injury. Now, the only fish that I'm a little worried about in here was from the trip. The Power Blue Dwarf had probably the most body damage, but he seems to be doing fine also. But once I can find them, yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's right there, and he's doing all right. And another change I might make to this tank also is these. I don't know if these are honey grammies or I don't know if these are big female golden honey grammies or female thick-lip grammies. I just don't know because they're sold to me as red robins, and other ones are sold to me as honeys. Well, that one over there, the smaller one right here, was sold to me as a red robin grammy. Well, it was sold to me as a honey grammy, sorry, and it came out male also, and the male turned out to be thick-lip grammy, so I assume that one is a thick-lip grammy. Yet it's smaller than these ones here, which were sold to me as a honey grammy, and I also had a fin ray analysis count done using a high-definition photo of this, and it was identified as a honey grammy of species Trigogaster tuna. So I just don't really know, but this is one of the few fish that I've had trouble with identification for, and it's just a pain when pet stores they mislabel their products and stuff, and some of them don't seem to care about it either. They just keep doing it, which is kind of a shame because you never know. You get sometimes thicklet grammies get pretty big, right? So you sell you a thicklet grammy as a honey grammy, and then say you put it in a 10-gallon tank that grows to say 4 inches long, right? So I think I might be leaning towards these truly being Calissia tuna because they seem to have maxed out at about 2 inches. And in tuna, the female is actually bigger than the male, but in Labosa and the other members of the genus that used to be called Calissia, that's now called Trigogaster, the females are generally smaller than the males by about a third or so, except in the high grammy, which has its sexual dimorphism flip-flopped. And the fish that used to be in Trigogaster are fish like these guys. They're now called Trigopodus. So this right here is Trigopodus tripetrus. So these are the spot grammies, with 3 spots, blue grammies, Cosby grammies. Oh boy, there's more. There's many more. There's platinum also. Just form. Some people think that these guys and I'm a little tired, so I just feel a little weird. But some people used to think would say that these guys and the pearl grammy were the same species. They're not. You gotta know your species when you buy your fish. You gotta know which species is which. You just gotta know the species differences. Like Getting trained to die, this guy here, this male here, and the blue one here, you think at a glance, you think they're different species, but they're not. They're the same species. They're same, they got the same chromosome count, they behave the same, just look a bit different. They're kind of like human races. So, enough with my rant on taxonomy. Go over to my 20-gallon tank. And my room's a bit of a mess, if you got a glance at that, but the 20-gallon tank is a mess. Last night I ripped out some of the moss. I took it out, and I tied a bit of it to these to this driftwood around here. And the plan is I might rip out all this rock in here and put a whole bunch of wood and just tie the moss up to that wood and get kind of like a Java moss forest look to it. And one problem I have with this tank is I want to convert it into more of my small shoaling fish tank, so that's the reason why I want to move the Cories into here, and the little small Grammys also into here, along with the beta. Well, actually, now I'll just leave the small Grammys at 75, but I'll move the Cories into here because it has sand substrate. And I want to have my shoal of 6 cherry barbs, which they're doing fine. But the problem is these guppies. I started off with 4 of them in June. Well, actually, wait. 3 females and 2 males. And now I have probably close to a dozen females and maybe 6 or 7 males. You can even tell that, you can even see the generations, like that big female, these 2 big females here are like from the founding generation. And you can see that there's some of their daughters there, one of their sons, and you can even tell who's the father of who. Like this male here, back there with the broken tail, he has 2 sons in here that look quite a bit like him, like one of his sons is right there. So that's pretty interesting, but I think these guppies, I'm either going to try to give them away, or at least give the females away, because they're just pumping out fry like crazy, and this beta here is lazy, and he doesn't seem to like eating the fry. And the bumblebee catfish that's in here, which I saw recently this morning, so I know he's alive, doesn't seem to eat the fry that well either. You know, oddly, I did see the croaking Grammy back here ate one of the fries this morning. It was pretty interesting to see that type of predation going on. But, yeah, so the guppies, if I can't find somebody who wants them up here, I might just give them back to the pet store. But I won't really get much credit for them because, you know, guppies aren't worth anything. So, well, aren't worth that much value in terms of value. I probably only get like maybe $1 or $2 for each guppy. But at one point I was thinking of using the excess fry in here as feeders. But I guess I hope their population seems to have leveled off. Like there's a fry here. I don't want them to grow any more adults right now, because it's just it's affecting my plans, since I never expected them to take off this much in terms of population land. Right here I got all my hygrophila, both the temple plant species and the warvis here floating here. And once one of my buddies comes up, we might actually strip down this entire tank. We might dirt the bottom also. And one weird thing is I got this weird algae or something growing underneath the sand. And yesterday I was actually poking my fingers through the substrate, and there was like gas bubbling and stuff. So I think that if all this were to bubble up at once, it would release a bunch of gas and kill my fish. So I'm going to probably gradually degas the bottom by just stirring it up a bit, gradually, like just a little bit at a time. And the other problem is this ram's horn snail infestation here. And I think one reason for that is my dad, who takes very good care of the fish tanks when I'm gone. I think he just feeds a little bit heavier than I do. So I think there might have just been more excess food. And these ram's horns, basically they eat anything, right? So my thing was, since my dad fed heavier than I would, the guppies were able to proliferate more effectively, and there was a little more left over for snails. And then the guppies would produce waste, and the snails would eat the waste, and all the algae and stuff. But one thing was interesting was, in this tank there was basically no water changes done at all whatsoever, and it's still healthy. It's still really healthy looking, just because this moss ball used to be about was about that big when I put it in, and now look at it, it's just all over the place. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing fish keeping. You never know what you're going to see. You can get some really good results. You can get shocking things like what my guppy population count. But it's always fun to see how things are going to play out, when you make your aquariums and everything. That's the joy of it. So, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe.